All right. Hello, guys. How are you doing? Don't know if y'all can see me or hear me yet. Let's see. I think it's loading. Hi, guys. You can hear me. Okay, you can hear me, but you can't see me. Okay, one second. One second. Let's figure this out. There we go. Can y'all see me now? Yes. Okay, yay. Hi, guys. How are you doing? Welcome. Welcome to our 2-week trading boot camp. I'm very excited to see you guys. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Lots of messages, lots of messages. Hi, guys. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started. Welcome to our last 2-week trading boot camp. For those that don't know me, my name is Trinity. I'm not going to do a whole detailed life story, but hello. I hope you guys are doing well. Before we actually get started with everything that we're going to be talking about tonight, I'm just going to briefly break down. Okay, there's a lot of messages. Okay, I'm just going to briefly break down just a little bit about the boot camp, and then we'll get started in a second. Okay, so as most of you guys know, this is a 2-week boot camp. It's going to be 8 days long. 3 days a week, we're going to be doing live sessions. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we're going to be doing live sessions. And then on Fridays, those are going to be our Q&A sessions. The link is the same every single time so that you guys don't get confused or lose something. So every single session has the same link. We're going to be doing at most an hour of session time each day. That's what I'm going to try to aim for. Try not to go over that. But then you guys also have supplemental material, sorry, in the Learning Hub, which most of you guys do already have access to. If you don't have access to something, send me an email, support@iblvtrading.com. We'll handle all of that after. But for now, as long as you're on the Zoom call, you are good for now. Okay. And then also, you guys are going to have additional resources in the Discord. So, like just previous educational calls that we have done, all that kind of stuff is in the Discord. So, you can go through that. You can see the daily levels every single morning. Use that how you want to use that. And yeah. Okay. We also do have, I just saw Michelle's name pop up. Thank you, Michelle. We have, I don't know, is Carmen in here? Okay. Well, we have two mods. I don't know if both of them are in the chat right now, but Michelle is yes, there she goes. All right. Carmen and Michelle are our moderators. So if you guys see them saying anything or whatever, they are moderating. Okay. So thank you guys so much for being here. All right. Before we get into the actual lesson for today, I just want to walk through this very quickly. This is generally the template that I like to go by when I'm teaching. So whether I'm doing mentorships, boot camps, one-on-one sessions, whatever the case may be, I feel like if I can get through all of this and you guys can learn, everything in this little template that I have here, then you should be good to go. Okay, so throughout the course of this boot camp, we are going to be focusing on all these things. Today is day one where we're going to be focusing on beginners. So we're going to talk about the introduction to futures. What is futures? How do you get started with futures? What do I need to get set up? Everything like that. And then as we get further throughout the week and throughout the boot camp, we'll get deeper into my personal strategy. So we'll talk about first, how do I figure out what levels I want to take trades at? What levels are important to me? How do I do my charting? All that kind of stuff. Then we'll talk about when we actually get to these levels, how do I analyze price and volume so that I know when to actually take a trade here? Okay. Then we'll get more into trade management. Like it says here, strategic entry and exit techniques. So that's entry, take profit, stop loss, trailing, calculating your position size, all that kind of stuff. We're going to cover all of that next week, though. I think that's maybe Monday or Wednesday of next week. And then the two additional things that I have here, the 15-second chart and then order flow, that is, or those are things that I use in my strategy as additions, but they're not absolutely necessary to trade my strategy. So all this stuff, the first four, 1, 2, 3, 4, those are a necessity. You don't need the 15-second chart. You don't need to use Bookmap, which is why we're not going to be covering it during the actual 6 days of our lessons. But you do have access to the 15-second course and the order flow video in the Learning Hub. Again, if you don't have access to that yet, we'll worry about all that at the end of class. But these are all the things that I feel like are important. Then, of course, risk management and psychology are the most important. A lot of people think they can just come on here, learn how to click buy or sell and chart, draw a trend line or whatever. And then that's it. No, it's a lot more than that. Learn to control your emotions and all that kind of stuff. I've had multiple people in the same exact class, and then one person is super successful in like 2 months, and another person is struggling for a year. Everyone's different, but it's because if you can't control yourself, if you don't understand the psychological part of trading, you're going to struggle. So we're going to talk about that as well. And I do want to ask you guys before we get started, how long have you guys been trading? Are you guys beginners? Are you guys coming from options or Forex, or what do you guys do? What's going on? Okay, 6 months futures, options 2 years, October newbie, 9 months, a year, 2 to 3 years. Okay, we have a big, okay, big variety. Okay. Around one. Okay. Okay, that's good. So we have a big variety of people, a lot of beginners, which is good because today is for beginners. And then for all of you guys who have been trading for a really long time and need help, as we get deeper into the boot camp, I'm going to help you. Okay, so I'm going to get ready to go to the next slide. Well, the next slide is not the next slide, but the next slide is this slide. This is the next slide. And before I get to the actual lesson, if you are not new, today is for beginners. Okay, so if you don't know anything about futures, if you just need help getting started with everything, that's what today is all about. If you already have an understanding of futures, then you don't have to stay on today. If you want a little refresher, you can do that, of course. But today is going to be for beginners. I know a lot of you guys already went into the Learning Hub and took that first quiz for the introduction to futures. A lot of you guys did really great. So if you already took that quiz and you did a good job, you don't really need to be on here today. Okay. But if you're a beginner, today's for you. If you're not a beginner, you can go ahead and get off if you want, but please come back. Okay. Please. Okay. A lot of people leave and they don't come back because they think everything is about beginners. Okay. But we're going to walk through everything step by step. Okay. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Remember, our Q&A sessions are on Fridays. It's a lot of you guys in here, way more than expected. So we're not going to be doing questions on each live session. We're going to hold those until Friday. Okay. Obviously, you guys do have access to the Discord. So if you have any questions that you just need to ask, you can send it there. Okay. Yes, this is recorded. This is being recorded, right, guys? Let's see. Yes. Okay. It's being recorded. It will be in the Learning Hub afterwards. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. If I'm talking too fast, please let me know. I get excited sometimes. All right. But let's go ahead. All right. So getting started with the basics of futures and what a futures contract is. Okay. For those that don't know, like I said, a lot of you guys may be coming from options where I saw you guys were futures. Blank screen. Can y'all see my screen? Oh, good or no? Yes. Okay, if you have a blank screen, I would suggest maybe getting off and coming back on. Okay, everyone can see. Okay, good. All right, so like I said, a lot of you guys might be coming from something else, options, futures, or not futures, options, Forex, crypto, just regular stock market. I don't know. Okay, so when we're talking about futures and what a futures contract is, you can see here our little definition. It is a legally binding agreement to buy or sell a standardized asset on a specific date or during a specific month. Okay. So basically you're buying or selling something at an agreed upon price at a later date. All right. There are a lot of different types of futures that you can trade. You can see I listed a few here. Okay. We have agriculture commodity futures. Okay. Like wheat. We have currency futures, equity futures, which is what I trade, like NASDAQ. We also have metals like gold or silver, lots of different options. But like I said, I personally trade NASDAQ. Another equity future that's super popular is the S&P or ES. And so throughout this bootcamp, a lot of the examples, all the examples are going to be revolving around NASDAQ. But of course, you can go through this bootcamp and learn my strategy and you can apply it to anything, okay? Or any type of futures. So you're not going to be limited there, but that is what futures is. And let me do my example that I like to always do when I'm teaching what a futures contract is. Okay, so like I said, futures contract is agreeing to buy or sell something at a later date at an agreed upon price. Okay, so we're going to use this pen as an example. And let's say I'm going to sell you this pen in 2 days for $5. All right, we agree today that you're going to buy this from me in 2 days for $5. I'm going to sell it to you, $5. Okay, even though 2 days has not come yet, we already made the agreement that you're going to pay me $5. It doesn't matter what the price of this pen actually cost in 2 days. Inflation might happen in 2 days and it might go up a lot. Okay, so now say 2 days comes around, we already made this legally binding agreement to buy or sell this pen. This is our asset. Okay. So we made the agreement to buy or sell this pin in 2 days. 2 days comes around. Because of inflation, the price of the pin has gone up to $20, but you already made an agreement with me to buy this pin for $5. So 2 days comes, you get the pin for $5. The price of the pin is actually $20. So you end up making 15. Okay. That's basically how a futures contract works. All right. That's how that works, just in simple pin terms. Okay, so just a little bit more about futures contracts before we move on. They're exchange traded or centrally cleared. So this just means that there's a middleman. You're not going to be trading directly with someone. You know who you're trading with. Just for anyone who doesn't know that. So like it says here, they are facilitated through a futures exchange. So your contract is going to be honored. You don't have to worry about, not getting your money. If you took a trade and you got $500, am I actually going to get this $500? Yes, because everything is essentially cleared. And you don't have to worry about any of that. Okay. There's also anonymity. Like I said, no one's going to know that you're the other person on, the end of the contract. If they end up losing $1,000, they're not going to know that, you was the one on the other side of the trade. Okay. For anyone who just maybe, I don't know if anyone thought that. Okay. Futures are also highly liquid. Okay. Just meaning that they have a lot of buyers and sellers. There's a lot of buyers and sellers, a lot of activity going on. So you are most likely to get filled almost immediately at the price that you want to get filled at. I don't know if a lot of you guys have experienced this. This is me speaking from experience like 4 years ago. But when I first started trading, I was trading options. And when I would get into trades, sometimes it wasn't as liquid. And so I would get into a trade and I wouldn't get filled exactly where I want to get filled at. And it just, with options, that would mess my money up. Okay. So the point is, with futures, it's highly, highly liquid as long as you're trading the current contract, which you'll learn more about. And so you'll get filled as soon as you want to get filled. Okay. Shouldn't have a problem with that. And then last but not least, with futures, there's no PDT rule or pattern day trader rule, which some of you guys may have heard of, where you have to have $25,000 in an account and can't take more than a certain amount of trades. You don't have to worry about that with futures. You can trade as many times as you want. You do whatever you want to do. Okay. It's really amazing. All right. So now that we've covered, just a little basics about futures contracts, we're going to go ahead and talk about basic order execution, which is how we're executing our orders. Okay. How we're actually buying and selling. All right. So these are the three main types of orders that I use personally. There's a lot of other order types, but these are just the main ones that I use. And for those that have already seen these order types, if you already know them, then this is just how I use them as a scalper. So first one is going to be a market order. So with a market order, these are how I execute all of my trades personally as a scalper. Okay. So I'm always hitting buy or sell. I'm not, we'll talk about limit orders in a second for those that don't know, but I'm not clicking buy or sell and waiting to get in. When I hit buy or sell, I want to get into the market immediately. So the way that I do that is by placing a market order. Like it says here, market orders execute a buy or sell immediately at the best available price. Okay. So this is going to ensure that your order gets filled or executed, but a market order is not going to guarantee you a specific price. Okay. So let's just say you're trading, the market's at 25,000, right? We're trading NASDAQ. Okay. So the market's at 25,000, you hit buy, you might not get filled until maybe 25,001, right? $25,001. Okay. Like I said, futures are highly liquid. So the spread between the bid and the ask is not going to be that much unless it's super volatile and, or maybe news happened or I don't know. Okay. Something like that. But generally, most of the time, you are going to get filled immediately. And so that's going to be at the best available price. It's not going to be too far from whatever that current price is. That's what a market order is. Okay. And like I said, all of my entries personally are market orders because I like to get filled immediately. I'm scalping, I'm in and out quickly. Of course, there are different types of trading. So you have day trading, scalping like I do. So it's very quick, 1 minute, 5 minutes, a few seconds maybe. Okay, then you have intraday trading where you're holding for maybe 30 minutes, an hour, or a few hours throughout the day. And then, then you start swing trading. Maybe you're holding for days or weeks at a time. And then position trading where you're holding for months at a time. And then long term, okay? So there's a lot of different types of trading. Me as a scalper, like I said, I'm using market orders to get my entries. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but that is the first type of order and the main one that I personally use, okay? Second order is going to be a limit order, okay? This is a order where you're setting a specific price where you want to get filled at, okay? So as opposed to a market order, this is going to guarantee you a specific price that you get filled. So like a market order, you don't know if you're going to get filled exactly at that price, but with a limit order, you are setting that specific price. So for example, again, say the market is at 25,000. All right, the market's up here. It's at 25,000. And you want to get filled at 24,900, right? 25,000. We're up here. You want to get filled at this price, okay? You want a better price. Okay, so you set your limit order at 24,900. You're not going to get filled unless the market comes down and there's liquidity right here and it fills you, okay? And then you get into your longs or buy order, whatever, at that level, okay? So that's what a limit order is. You don't get filled unless price reaches that level. But if price reaches that level, you get that exact price as opposed to a market order, okay? And so like it says here, my take profit levels, for those that don't know, this is just where I take my profit in a trade or where I end up making money in a trade. My take profit orders are limit orders. Okay, that's how it is naturally, just in the trading platforms. But the reason for that is, you know, when I'm in a trade and I want to make $1,000, that limit order is going to guarantee that I make my $1,000, if that makes sense, because I'm getting filled exactly at the price that I want to get filled at. And you guys will learn about contract specifications and ticks and points and how much all that actually costs so that you can calculate how much money you're actually going to be making at certain price levels or whatever. But just talking about these types of orders with a limit order, my take profit levels are limit orders, okay? Also, they are visible to the market. This is regarding order flow. So it's not really super necessary to know this. It doesn't really affect your life, but it is good to know that these are visible to the market. So when you're looking at level 2 data like Bootcamp or, you know, looking at any type of level 2 data, okay, depth of market, anything, when you're seeing the level sitting, the resting order sitting above price or below price, some of you guys may have actually seen this recently on my page or whatever, or Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, I don't know. Okay, but some of you guys may have seen this on my chart. So those are limit orders. Those are resting limit orders. Okay, so the third type of order is going to be a stop order. All right, and this is also very common. You need to make sure you're using this order every single trade. This is going to make sure that if the market does end up going against you, then you're not losing all your money and you're good. Okay, so a stop order is going to trigger a market order when a certain price level is met or reached. Okay, so another example, price is at 25,000, right? Let's just say you get into longs. Longs means you get into the market and you want to capitalize off of it going up. By the way, shorts means you're getting into a trade and you want to capitalize off the market going down. All right, just for those that are new, this is a beginner's class, okay? So let's say the market's at 25,000 again. We get into a trade here, all right? And then let's say we have a stop order that's placed at 24,950, 50 points below, okay? So this stop order, if you get into longs here, this is protecting you from losing all your money. Price comes down, hits this level because you made a bad trade. You get stopped out here. What happens is when price touches this level, a market order is placed. Okay, so it sounds like confusing. What's the difference between a stop order and limit order? But the difference is with a stop order, a market order is being placed. And what's the difference between a market and a limit order? Well, with a market order, we're getting filled immediately at the best available price. With a limit order, we're being guaranteed a certain price, but if the market doesn't hit that level, then it won't be executed. So with our stop orders, you want to make sure, well, your stop orders are stop orders, but my trailing stop and my stop loss, that's what these words stand for. Trailing stop and stop loss. These are stop orders. The reason why is because we just talked about how limit orders they won't be executed if there's no liquidity at the level, or if price never reaches that level. If the market is going against you and you need to get this trade closed out, otherwise you're going to be out $1,000 or $2,000 when you really only wanted to lose 500. This stop order is going to make sure you get filled immediately. As soon as that level is hit, you're going to get filled. Why? Because it's placing a market order. As opposed to if a stop order was a limit order, there's a possibility that if the market is moving extremely fast and there's just not enough liquidity at your stop loss level where you want to get filled at, you have a limit order here, there's no liquidity, you're not getting filled. So if I'm in a trade and I want to lose $500 and I have a limit order here and it doesn't get filled, like I said before, you're going to be out a lot more money than you wanted to be out. Okay, so that's why our stop orders, our stop loss orders are stop orders as opposed to limit orders, if that makes sense. So our take profit levels are limit orders. Our stop levels are stop orders, okay? And then I enter the market with market orders, okay? So it's pretty self-explanatory, but, you know, just so you guys know. All right, so that is pretty much the basic 3 types of orders that I'm using. And then someone said, what is Bookmap? Bookmap is just, because I mentioned it with the limit orders, but Bookmap is just a tool to help you see level 2 data. So you can see where buyers and sellers are sitting at, in short. Okay. And then I mentioned that limit orders are visible to the market. Your stop orders are not visible to the market. Okay. So you're not going to be able to see these when you're looking at the order book. Whenever you're looking at the order book, stop orders are not what you're seeing. You're only seeing limit orders when you're paying attention or looking at the order book. Okay. There's going to be liquidity when you want to take profit. It's a market order. Okay. Well, that's actually a really good question. Okay. So there's a thing called slippage. There's going to be liquidity, but let's just say it's super, super volatile and there's a lot of news, right? And the market's just jumping. You have that limit order up at, wherever your take profit is at, whatever level that is, or whatever level it is below. Okay. If there is a really big spike and your order doesn't get filled immediately, there might be a little bit of a discrepancy, or you just might not get filled because it's a limit order. But obviously, it's a take profit. So if price blows past your take profit, you're either going to see it blowing past your take profit and you're going to be able to close a trade, or there's going to eventually be liquidity to fill in at that level and it's going to close the trade at your level, if that makes sense. So it's take profit, you're going to get filled at your take profit level. Okay. The only thing is with your stop orders, you want to make sure that you have a stop order as a stop loss, not a limit order. Does that make sense? Like I just said, with a take profit, we can go all the way up here, continue moving up, and you're going to be good because you're in profit, even if the trade doesn't close out. But with a stop order, we go against us and we want to lose $500. Now we're out $1,000 or more, okay, because we had it as a limit order instead of a stop order. But like I said, naturally in the trading platforms, when you have a take profit or a stop loss, they're generally going to be limit order and stop order. It's not really something you have to even think about. I'm just letting you guys know the difference between these different types of orders. Okay. But you don't really have to think about this when you place that stop loss, place the take profit is going to be these type of orders. Okay. Okay. All right. So next we're going to be talking about what you need to trade futures. Okay. So you're going to need two things. You're going to need a trading platform and then either a brokerage or a prop firm. Okay. So the trading platform that I use personally to do my charting and everything, y'all can hear me? Someone said they don't hear anything. Y'all can hear me? We're all good or no? Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. So it might be just one person. If you can't, okay, well, I can't leave a message because they can't hear me. So I don't know. Okay, they'll figure it out. Okay. All right. So the trading platform that I use is TradingView. Just to read this really quickly. TradingView is a platform that provides tools for traders to analyze financial markets using technical and fundamental analysis. Okay. So I use this for charting. Like it says here, you have your customizable charts, indicators, alerts, real-time data, paper trading. Okay. You can also execute trades inside of TradingView. You can pay attention, track your orders, whatever, manage positions. You can do all that inside of TradingView. Okay. TradingView is very amazing. If you guys don't know about TradingView or you don't have a TradingView account, you're probably going to need one. It's very user-friendly for those that have not used it yet. Looks very nice and clean. It's not difficult to understand. So that's the first thing. You need a trading platform. Okay. This is where I do all my charting. As we get deeper into the bootcamp, when I'm doing my charting, when we're going through examples, when we're breaking down everything in my strategy, is going to be in TradingView. All right. So make sure you guys set your account up. Well, I'm gonna show you guys that in a second, okay? Second thing you're gonna need is either gonna be a brokerage or a prop firm. This is how you're connecting your money, okay? You're connecting your money to actually place the trades, okay? So brokerage is like live money, real money, like a bank account, okay? So like it says here, intermediaries that enable individuals to trade futures contracts, okay? So I personally use NinjaTrader. Of them, there's Trade of 8, TD Ameritrade, AMP or AMP futures, interactive brokers, lots more. But I personally use NinjaTrader. I love NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader is awesome. Okay. But also a lot of people love Trade of 8 and stuff like that. Okay. So those are the tops. These are really the main two that a lot of future traders use is NinjaTrader and Trade of 8. Okay. So yeah, you need either that if you want to use your live money, or you need a prop firm. Now, some of you guys may not have heard of a prop firm before. We'll talk a little bit more about prop firms in the second week on probably Thursday. Yes, on Thursday. But just quickly, this is just something or company that allows traders to access. I was going to say access. Okay, allow traders to access capital and leverage to trade futures. Okay, so basically what they say is, hey guys, you want some money to trade with? Let me help you out. You pay me a little fee right here, just a small little fee. I'll give you a little account. And if you can prove to me that you can make $500 or $1,000 without losing $1,000, these are just example numbers, then I'll give you an account and then you can start getting payouts and stuff like that. Okay. That's basically what a prop firm is. It sounds really easy, but they have rules and stuff. It's really good though for people who, maybe you're just getting into futures. You don't really have a whole lot of money that you want to spend on trading. You just want to, see how it's going. All right. So a lot of popular prop firms. Okay. I don't even have a lot of the popular prop firms on here. I don't know why. Apex is a popular one. Take Profit Trader is popular. Top Step, super popular. Yes, Apex did just change their rules. They did. Yes, they did. Funded Futures Network, Elite Trader Funding. But the two that I would recommend, I don't even know why I don't have the second one up here. The two that I personally use is going to be Apex and then Take Profit Trader. Apex, Take Profit Trader. Now, I know a lot of people love Top Step too. That's like the another one that I hear a lot. There's a lot of other ones, Tradeify, Lucid, right? There's a lot of newer ones since I've been trading. So yeah, is Webull good for futures? I think you can trade futures on Webull. I'm not 100% sure. Sorry. I'll see in a second. I'm gonna go to TradingView and we'll see the brokers you can connect to. Someone said no. Okay, thank you. Yeah. See, the only thing I use is NinjaTrader. Also, I did see something in the chat. If you have a MacBook, I would not recommend using NinjaTrader. Okay, probably go with Tradeovate. But if you have Windows, then you can go with NinjaTrader. I just personally prefer NinjaTrader because of the different features that it has. Okay, so yeah, you need a brokerage or a prop firm and then your platform. All right, so that's what you need to trade futures. As far as TradingView goes, I am going to now show you guys how to set up your account, how to get your live data. What else am I going to show you? And then just a little tour of the TradingView platform for anyone who just doesn't know anything about it. Okay, so now I'm going to just get off this screen and I'm going to go to the internet and I'm going to show you guys what I need to show you guys. Okay, hold on. Okay. Now let me share my screen. Please work. See, earlier, guys, this Zoom was freezing and pausing and it wasn't working. So I think it's working now. All right, I'm about to share my screen. I'm moving stuff around. You won't be using Bookmap. Will I be using it? I won't be using it, but there is a video about it. But you'll see how I use Bookmap. If you watch the video, you'll understand it. Okay, sorry guys. I'm trying to share the screen. All right, I think I did it. Did I do it? Y'all can see my screen? Oh, someone said they're only seeing some questions and conversations. Oh, yeah, guys. If you want everyone to be able to see your messages, make sure you change it to everyone instead of just hosting panelists, okay? It might seem like I'm crazy. I'm talking to nobody. You're like, who's she talking to? Yeah, some of the messages are only sent to me. So if you guys want them to be sent to everyone, make sure you turn on everyone, okay? I will answer that question in a second. It's going to be in the Learning Hub. All right. Okay, guys, look, we're on TradingView. This is tradingview.com. Okay, for those that don't know, tradingview.com. All right, so with TradingView, you need your account and you need market data. All right, so when you get to this homepage, sorry guys, when you get to this homepage, you need to, number one, create an account. You can't get market data if you don't have an account. Okay. Okay, so we have products here. Oops, I did not mean to do that. We're going back to home. All right, products. I didn't mean to click on that. And then you want to go to pricing. Okay, products and pricing. All right, so you can see here, there's a lot of different pricing options, or just four. Okay, 4 different pricing options. And I mean, you don't really need all this extra stuff. I personally have the premium pricing plan, but that's just because I need the 15-second chart, for charting whatever I'm doing. Okay, 1 second. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, but I just need the 15-second chart. So I have the premium plan, but if you feel like you don't need that, you can get essential. Okay, wait guys, hold on. I need to cough. Sorry, guys. All right. I don't know. I think I might have to cough again. It's a dab. Okay. But you can see here it says try free for 30 days. Okay. I'm trying to see if I have to cough again. Okay, try. I'm not sick. I'm just talking a lot. All right, try free for 30 days. So if you guys are new, you don't know, like, do I want to actually do this? You can actually try these different plans. Okay, so you're going to pick one. Like I said, you're a beginner. You don't really need to go and just jump plus premium ultimate. Just try this one. Yes, you can. Yes, yes, yes. Try that one and then, create your account. When you create your account, oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. When you create your account, you're going to be able to get your market data. Okay. So get your account, choose whatever plan you want. Like I said, you can look through these, figure out which one you feel like is going to be best for you. I personally have premium. Okay. Then you want to go to products again, and then you want to go to market data. Okay. So first we did pricing. Next, we're going to do market data. Just for anyone who need me keep saying it, because I know some people be confused. All right, so market data. This is how we're going to actually connect to the data so that we're not having delay data. Okay, please connect to the data. All right, so products, market data. Scroll to the bottom. Scroll to the bottom, and then you see we have subscribe to real-time markets. Okay, so you want to click on this button here. I have to log in 1 second. Let me log in so I can show you guys, because like I said, you do have to have an account to actually subscribe to market data. So you won't be able to even do this if you don't actually create an account. All right. So get your account. And then once you create your account and you are ready to subscribe to market data, you're going to see this screen. Your choice, whether you want to do annual or monthly, whatever you want to do, it's fine. But this is the one you need. CME Group, E-mini included. All right. This is the one. CME Group, E-mini included. You don't need NASDAQ stock market. Okay. You don't need stock exchange of Thailand. You need CME Group, E-mini included. Okay. I'm saying it a lot of times because people are going to ask right after. Okay. This is what you need for futures. Like you said, it says futures and options. All right. You're good. This is what you need. All right. So once you subscribe to that, click on next, subscribe, you're good. Then you're going to be able to come to your chart and you should be good from there. So you can go back up to products and then super charts. Okay. Oh, I'm muting myself. Okay. All right. So on the charts here, let me log out so it can look like how it would look for you guys. I'm sorry. Why is yours 84? I don't know. I'm not sure. Yes, today is for intro. Hold on, guys. Let me drink water real quick. Just give me like 1 second. Thank you guys for your patience. 1 second. Okay. Okay. All right. I don't know what's going on. Thank you. Okay. So this is what your screen is going to look like. Okay. It's going to be blank. So the first thing that we're going to make sure we do is we're going to go to up here to symbol search. Okay. All right. Symbol search. This is just how we're going to figure out, well, what are we actually trading? What are we actually charting on? Okay. So I personally, like I said, I trade NASDAQ. So I'm going to be on NQ1 exclamation point. This is the continuous contract for NASDAQ, but you can, search in here, lots of different things. You can see here the current contracts that we have for NASDAQ. But like I said, I personally am charting on the continuous contract. All right. So like I said, this is a boot camp. Everything is going to be very fast. I'm not going to be able to talk about everything. So in the supplemental materials, it is going to teach you guys about contract specifications, everything like that. That's going to be super, super important. So make sure you guys watch that video. I'll direct you guys to that afterwards, literally after we walk through this. But I'm trading NASDAQ in Q1 exclamation point. The reason is contracts expire every quarter, okay, every 3 months. So they expire in January, February, March, June, September, and December. All right. So they expire every 3 months. So when you're looking at the current contract, which would be like this, NQH 2026, NQM 2026. When you're looking at the current contract, you can't see, as far back as you would like. And if I was on the 4-hour, I'd be able to do this faster. Or as far back as all the levels go, right? You can see here, this kind of stops around September. Okay, right around September. Okay, and it gets like not good. Okay, but if I want to see all the levels and all the previous price action, then I need to be on NQ1 exclamation point, which is the continuous contract. Okay, so that's a continuous contract, and you can see the difference here, guys, where you can now see all the previous price action from 2023, from 2021, right? Everything's there. All right. And the reason why this is important, because I know someone's going to ask this later on when we get into the charting and everything. When do I take my levels off the chart? The answer is never until they're invalidated. So, like, let's say, for example, right? This is June of 2025. This was last year. Okay. Let's just say, for example, there's some level down here. I don't know. I don't have my other thing, but I'm just going to put this here, right? Let's just say there's some level down here, right? There's nothing actually there right now, but if price ends up falling, I need to know that there's a level down here. So the point is that I like to chart on NQ1 to make sure that I have all my levels available in case price ends up going down or going up or whatever the case may be. Okay. So that's the first thing. Figuring out what symbol you're going to be on and where you're going to be charting at. All right. Now I'm just going to briefly go through, kind of where everything's at. And then I'll go through the learning hub and then we'll be pretty much done for the day. Okay. So you can see up here, this is where you're going to do your time frame. Okay. Or add your time frames. If you want to like save them, this is how I have mine. Like I save my time frames. Okay. But you're going to switch time frames here. You're going to learn more about different time frames if you go through the supplemental materials. But just in short, these time frames are showing you how much has happened or what happened within this span of time. So 30 minutes, every candle is what happened in 30 minutes. If I'm on the 4 hour, every candle is showing me what happened within a span of 4 hours. Okay. So I like to mark out, or I like to, star or save the 4 hour, 3 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour. I also do 45 minutes, 35 minutes, 15 minute, 1 minute. I also have the 15-second. And then I also have some custom intervals that I like to just look at: 195-minute and then 90-minute, which it's not going to let me add right now. If I try to, I don't think, because I'm not logged in. Yep, not going to let me. But I also like to add the 195 and the 90-minute. And you guys will figure out, more about these different time frames and what do I do with all these time frames. But they're for my charting. So we'll talk about this Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. Get into charting, but I like to chart out all my levels on each of the different time frames. So I'll go to the 4 hour, look for all my levels, 3 hour, 1 hour, all the way down. Okay, look for all my levels. All right, so that's just the first thing: marking out or saving those time frames that you want to save at the top there. All right, second thing at the top panel or in the top whatever here, just these different chart types. This is not really important. At least to me, I personally just use regular candles. If you just want to play with this, you can. I also have the premium trading view plan, because I also pay attention to the volume footprint chart, not while I'm trading, but I used it for stuff. All right. But if that's something you're interested in, then you can, play with these or get whatever plan that you need to access, the ones that you need to access. Okay. Then you have your indicators. All right. I will show you guys the indicators that I have on my chart. I personally don't really use indicators except for volume. Okay, so I'll show you guys the indicators I use. Like I said, the first one is just regular volume, okay, which is already on the chart, but in case it's not on you guys' chart when you open it up, it's this one here, volume, right there, bottom of the chart. All right, then the other one I use is buy, sell volume. Oops, didn't mean it. Oh, yes, I did. All right, buy, sell volume. So you're going to type in buy/sell volume bars, this guy. RAUKI. I don't know if it's going to let me add it. No, it's not going to let me add it right now. But this is the one that you want to also add into your chart, which actually, let me log in so that you guys can see what that looks like. Just so you guys know which one it is that I'm using. So let me log in real quick. Take 5 seconds. Just do that, just to make sure you guys can see everything. All right. All right. So back to the buy, sell volume bars. There it goes. Buy, sell volume bars. When you click on that, it's going to show up on your chart. And it is, this at the bottom. It's just showing the split between buyers and sellers, or the volume of buyers and sellers within each candle. Okay. You can see the difference here. One is showing if it went down during this span of time. It's just big red, but this, you can see the actual split between buyers and sellers. Will I be explaining how you use? Yes. When we get to, I think it'll be Wednesday of next week, Tuesday, Monday. It'll be Monday of next week, I believe, where I'll talk more about how I use it. It's in the why part of the formula that I talked about, or why part of my strategy that I talked about initially, where I'm figuring out, once we get to our specific key level, why do I actually want to take this trade? Analyzing price and volume. So yes, to answer your question, I am going to. Okay. So those are the two indicators that I use. Like I said, I don't use the MAs, the RSI, boom. I don't know. There's a bunch of other stuff. I don't use them. Okay. I'm not gonna even try. Okay. That's different chart types. Okay, indicators. This here at the top, just saving the template of, whatever you have on your chart. I don't really do much with that. You can see here setting alerts. Like I said, all this stuff you can really play with. I'm just kind of showing you guys very briefly. But let's just say you have this little level, whatever this is, right? And you want to be alerted when price touches this level. You turn on your alert. Okay, create an alert. That's all that is, guys. Very simple stuff. You also have this replay mode here, which, okay, you guys see what I just did there. If you want to go back in time and do some, can I make this? There we go. All right, sorry guys. If you want to go back in time and do some back testing and, go over the day or go over your week and, just practice and take some trades, whatever you want to do, sell, buy, sell. You can do that in replay mode. All right, so let me get out of this. Yes, we're out of that. All right, and okay, this is at the top, but I'm going to show you guys how to add this stuff to the top if you need to in a second. All right. Up here, you have your settings. I mean, it's just other stuff up here. There's no more bottom panel, how it used to be in TradingView. That doesn't really matter if you haven't used TradingView before, but at the top here, you also have your trading panel. Okay. The reason I'm saying that, it used to be at the bottom. Trade panel is at the top now. So when you click on that trade button, remember how I said you can do paper trading in TradingView, or you can also, actually connect to your broker. You do that by clicking on the trade panel. So if you want to do paper trading, you can click on paper trading and click connect. All right. When you click on paper trading, it's going to open up, the trading panel for you to paper trade. You can see, the balance down here. If you want to reset that and whatnot, you can do that here. That was bottom left, by the way. Sorry, guys. I feel like I'm going fast. Okay. Bottom left here where it has the settings here. You can do that if you need to. All right. But there is going to be a video in the Learning Hub on how to paper trade in TradingView. All right. So the point is, this is the trading panel. All right. So we're going to close that. And let's just say, actually, you want to connect to your broker too. Hold on. I need to log out. There it goes. Connect to another broker. If you need to connect to another broker, like I said, there's all these different broker options that you can connect to in TradingView, meaning you can trade with your real money and not have to trade in the actual platform. You can trade. Okay, let me slow down. You can trade in TradingView. Okay, so like I said, I personally use NinjaTrader. In the past, maybe I was tired or on vacation or something. I would simply log into NinjaTrader and connect my account here, and then I could place my trades over here. Again, there's going to be a how to paper trade in TradingView video in the Learning Hub. And actually, it might look a little bit different, but it's overall the same. We'll go through some examples also as we go through the bootcamp, talking about how to use this over here. If you guys need to. Hardly see. Can you guys see this? Is it small? Is it, you can see? Okay. 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 All right. Just want to make sure that nothing's like zoomed out or something. All right. Okay. So that's the trading panel there at the top. You have your paper trading and your actual broker. All right. And for those that don't know, paper trading is like demo, fake account, practicing before you are ready to risk your real live money. All right. So now over to the left here, this is where we have all of our tools. Okay. Like I said, I'm just briefly going to go through these, and let me log out so you guys can see how I add the tools to my chart and which ones I actually add. But all these are going to be your tools that you actually use to chart with. So like I said, practice doing this. We are going to be getting into charting on Wednesday and all throughout the rest of the bootcamp. So you don't have to know what to chart, but I just want you guys, if you're new to this, just get into the habit of, clicking one of these and figuring out how do I actually add this to chart? Do I click it and drag it and hold it? What do I do? Because it could be a learning curve for some people. All right. But these are the tools that I have pinned at the top of my chart. Okay. So if I click over here, I'm going to just star them so you guys can see. All right, so trend line, I have that one. I have the horizontal ray, not the horizontal line. I don't like how it goes across the entire chart for eternity, as opposed to the horizontal ray, which you can see moves in one direction, stays to the right. So I can see where the level actually started, which is why I mark my levels with the horizontal ray instead. All right, so I have horizontal ray, trend line. I do have parallel channel that I use every now and then. Okay. Let's see if I have any of these. No, none of those, guys. All right, you do want to add these long and short position. All right, these are going to be how, if you're on TradingView and you want to visualize your trade maybe before you actually take a trade, you can do that. So let's just like do an example here, right? If you put this on your chart, it just helps you visualize whatever you want to do. And I like to do this before I even take a trade, just to see, what the trade is going to look like or what I want it to look like. You can see here when you hover over this, it shows you what your risk to reward ratio is, where your stop loss is at, in ticks and points, and then also the take profit in ticks, which is the middle, and then points to the left. Okay. So that's just, something that I use a lot and that I have up there. Okay. What else do I have on my chart? Everything else is not really important. This is just stuff that I have for, teaching and stuff. So you don't really need these other things. Okay, I don't have emojis. All right, but these are really the main. Oh no, I use the rectangle tool. 1 second, guys. Where's the rectangle tool? See, this is why I have them pinned though, because when I'm doing my charting, I don't want to have to go through all these. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? There it goes. Rectangle. All right, so I have rectangle and the circle one also for charting, or not for charting, but for teaching. But rectangle tool is how I mark out my supply and demand zones, which we'll talk about Wednesday. So that's that. The different ones that I have on the chart. Like I said, you don't have to know how to do your charting right now, but just practice, mark out some stuff, and just see how it feels. See how it feels to mark out whatever you need to mark out. But we'll get into actual charting in a little bit. All right. So that's all the tools over there. We also have this ruler tool, which I do use a lot, just to like if I'm about to get in a trade and I want to see how far is my stop loss for my entry, maybe I'll just quickly measure. And you can see here, this ruler tool shows you points to the left and then ticks to the right. Okay, if you want to measure anything. All right, so that's the main stuff I use. Over here to the right, I don't really use anything over here, but just to show you guys very quickly, you can see here, this is the watch list. So this is if you trade multiple things and you want to have them easily accessible. You don't want to have to go into the symbol search over here to the left and have to type everything. So you can just put stuff over here in the watch list and it's easily accessible. But again, I personally only trade NASDAQ futures. So I don't really need to use this. Okay. Again, this is the alerts. We talked about alerts up at the top previously, but if you actually have alerts set, they will be here. They'll show up here. All right. Object tree shows you everything you have on your chart. Okay. A bunch of stuff that I just don't use. Like I said, I only trade NASDAQ futures. So this is the stock screener. You can see all the different stocks here. If you trade stocks, or if you want to just look through this and have fun, maybe just look through it. Like I said, you can go through all this stuff yourself and figure out, what everything is, but I don't really use anything over here. This is the only thing that I might find remotely useful. Let me go back just so you guys can see it. It's the calendar tool here. That's going to be where you can see the economic events that are happening. I don't use it because I can see news elsewhere. But if you guys do just want to stay in TradingView and see everything there, you can do that. You can see up here where it says the countries. If you click on that, and I know all you guys aren't in the USA, but if you're trading what I'm trading, then you'll just turn on USA and you can see all the different news that you have here. And news is really important to at least be aware of, because even if you're not trading, just based on news, you don't trade news, it's good to know, like, is there news at 10 o'clock? For example, when I used to trade, or when I first started trading, the market would move up and down and all around at 10 o'clock. And I'm like, what's going on? Turns out there was news a lot of days at 10 o'clock. Okay. So this just shows you if there's anything going on during the day. And so you can look at that. Other than that, nothing's really, super duper important over there. Okay. So now that's pretty much everything. Like as far as TradingView goes, like I said, mainly just focus on, this stuff up here and then these tools over here, just practicing. Like I said, if you want to also just look in the paper trading panel, while you're kind of getting started and you want to just see what paper trading is like, you can go through that video and, start practicing with that as well. But that's that. Create your account, get your data. The data is going to be super important. I also forgot to note that when you have live data, you see this green little dot up here to the left, where if I hover over it, it says market open. I have data that is not delayed. Okay. If you have delayed data, I think it's most likely going to turn yellow. So you'll know if you did not buy your market data or if something's not right. Okay. It'll show up here to the left of your chart. All right. Now, create your account, get your data, practice, just using these tools. Okay. And you need to go through these supplemental materials. All right. That's what I'm about to talk about right now. So I'm now in the Learning Hub, which I think you guys can see my chart. Most of you guys, 99% of you guys have access. Okay. There's a few people that might need help. And so, email after. But go to the website, IBLVtrading.com. All right. And go to the top right here, just for accessing the Learning Hub in general. Go under My Courses, and then you should see it there. It's loading. IBLV Trading Bootcamp 7.0 Learning Hub. Okay. This is the only one you're going to see. I have all these from, previous boot camps and mentorships and everything, but that's the one that you're going to see. All right. So this is where everything is, guys. Literally everything. All the Zoom links, all the supplemental materials, all the quizzes. Okay, that's where everything's at. Okay. So you can see here in the welcome, all the recordings. This is where the recordings are at, guys, for those that don't know. Okay, because a lot of people say, I can't find them. Let me show you where they're at. All right. Okay, so you have getting prepared here. This is under welcome. You have overview, welcome, getting prepared. This is where the recordings are at. Okay. This link for the Zoom, you can use these every single class. It doesn't change, to make it easy, like I said in the beginning. But access recordings. You click on this, it's going to take you to a YouTube link. All right. There's nothing in this playlist yet. Okay. But it's going to be something here within the next hour or two. It's going to upload and then I'm going to upload it. Okay. So all the recordings are going to be in this playlist. You can save this link if you want. You don't have to come into the Learning Hub every single time. If you want to save this link on YouTube with the little save playlist button, you can do that. Okay. All the recordings and Q&A sessions are going to be in this playlist. All right. Please, guys, getting prepared, access recordings. All right. Q&A sessions, same link, but this just shows you guys the dates and the times of the Q&A sessions. Still 7 p.m. EST and on Fridays, March 6th and March 13th. Okay. Now, on day one, which is today, you guys see that we did talk about the foundations of futures. Like I said, I need you guys. I need you guys to please go through these supplemental materials. There was a lot of beginners in here. Okay. If you're not a beginner, it's okay. You're good. But if you're a beginner, please go through these supplemental materials. Like I said, this is a very condensed boot camp. So I have to get everything out really fast. And so I can't cover every single thing, but I do have everything for you guys. Okay. So the bolded and starred one is going to be like the most important. Like you can't trade without knowing this. Okay. NQ contract specifications. This is the specifications of contracts. Okay. So you need to know that when you watch the video or you look at the slideshow, you'll understand. It's broken down very simple, very simple. Okay. Okay. So you need to watch that. Intro to candlesticks. Okay. If you guys don't know about that, like I said, a lot of beginners. Okay. Reading a futures price chart and basic indicators. I already talked about the indicators that I used today. So you don't really have to watch that. Like I said, the main ones you want to watch is going to be where it's bolded and starred. I would also say watch the introduction to candlesticks. All these are going to be important. The way you're going to access them is going to be free intro course. Click on that. It's going to take you there. It's free. You don't have to pay anything extra. Okay. Also, guys, there's nothing that you have to pay extra. I know a lot of people are struggling with certain things. Discord, you don't have to pay extra. You don't have to pay extra to get into the Learning Hub. Don't pay for anything else, okay? Just email me. All right, anyways, with this intro to futures course, you can see kind of same layout. You have the welcome and then getting started. All right, so with the getting started, I just showed you guys what you need to watch. NQ contract specifications, candlesticks, price chart, okay, whatever. You can find them all in here. This is going to be the most important one. NQ contract specifications. Please watch this video, guys. Please, okay? Super important. And then, like I said, the other ones will be most likely in the technical analysis section, where you see reading a futures price chart and then intro to candlesticks. You can see, any additional materials that are there. You can watch the whole thing if you want, but I'm just saying the really, really important ones, okay? But yeah, you can definitely watch those if you want. If you want to learn more about why I specifically trade NASDAQ, you can watch that too. But please at least watch these, all right? If you want to just look at the slides, you can, but it might be a little bit more difficult understanding if you have no prior knowledge. So I would just definitely recommend watching the videos, okay? Now, you can see here you have this quiz if you want to quiz yourself and see, how did I do? Am I learning? Am I smart? You're smart. All you guys are smart, but am I learning? Okay. So you can take this quiz, answer all the questions. It'll spit back out, if you pass or not. But that's just helpful for people that need that. Okay. And then you're welcome. And then here is the how to paper trade in TradingView video. You can see that here. Like I said, if you see here, you can see it looks a little bit different than how TradingView looks now. And let me just quickly log back in just so you guys can see the difference, but it's similar concept. And again, when we're going throughout the boot camp, you will see me go through some examples when I'm using that. Okay. And here it goes. Oops. Here we go. All right. So you can see here, it looks a little different, that versus that over there, but it's the same concept. So you can definitely watch that if you guys feel like you need to watch that. Okay. Everything else we'll get more into as we go throughout our stuff or throughout the boot camp. More quizzes as we get deeper into the boot camp. Okay. There are some of you guys who have actually gone through both these quizzes already. Good job. Really proud of you guys. Love that for you. Okay. And then the supplemental videos and courses. Like I said, everything is here. It's just a fake quiz. Yeah. It doesn't count against you. If you fail, it's okay. It's okay. No, it does not count against you. You're good. I promise you, you're good. It's just if you want to quiz yourself. Some people like it to test, like, are they learning? And then what they might need to go back over. See, that's fake. You're welcome. Okay, show you how to get to the YouTube. All right, I'll show you that again in just a second. But oh boy, I'm just scrolling all the way down. All right. Supplemental videos and courses. Like I said, everything is here, guys. Everything. Here's the intro to order flow and bookmap video. Okay. Intro to order flow and bookmap. And at the end of the bootcamp, I will most likely be talking about the other tool that I now use or have developed to see where the level 2 data is sitting at on my chart. But you guys can definitely watch this video in the meantime and maybe get set up with that if that's what you want to do. All right. You also have access to this 15-second strategy course. Like I said, very condensed, lots of information. Can't get out everything during the bootcamp, but you have access. So you click on that, use the code BC6, just use that code. And then you will see, it's just a mini course explaining why I use the 15-second chart or how I use the 15-second chart and everything like that. Will access expire after the bootcamp to these courses or to this learning hub? If that's what you're asking, no. You have access to all of this forever. You have access to the recordings for, why is it not going backwards? Okay, you have access to recordings forever. You have access to everything forever. Yeah, that's the code that you use to get into the 15-second course if you want to watch that. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to. This is just extra stuff. So yes, you guys have access to this page forever. You have access to all these quizzes, all the supplemental materials, all the extra stuff. You have access to that forever. And then again, for the person who just asked, can I show how to get back to the YouTube? It's at the top, not overview, but it's in the welcome section. So this is what it'll look like when you come in. All right. It's going to be closed up, open up, sorry guys. Open up welcome, getting prepared. And then you can see here, access recordings, little black button, access recordings, click on it, takes you to this YouTube. Like I said, nothing here yet, but something will be here within the next hour or two. Okay. All right. So that is everything as far as the first day. Wednesday, we will be talking about just the things I chart, like the levels, everything like that. Not anything too technical analysis. That's what we're doing. We're not going to get into anything too crazy yet. So if you are someone who's more advanced, but you decided to stay on, we'll get into more of my strategy, like deep, starting on Thursday. Okay. We're starting to build on what we talked about today. Okay. Starting to build on what we talked about today. All right. So that's everything. If you guys have any questions about access to anything, email. I'm going to put, that's a lot of course. Yes, it is a lot of education. Like I said, you guys also have access to the Discord for now, for the 2 months. So if you go to the educational section of the Discord, you will also see some more videos there. It's a lot of stuff. Let me see if I can show you guys what you would have access to just really quickly for those that haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna get off in a second. It's 8 o'clock. I know, guys. 1 second. Just want to show you guys so that you guys see everything. Okay, 1 second, 1 second. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Resume. All right. You can see here in the Discord. Are you going? Yes, full strategy in this bootcamp. Full strategy. Start to finish. Yes. The Discord is $65 after the 2 months, but if you don't want it, just make sure you cancel and you're good. Okay, so under the education section, you can see where it says educational videos. There's 3 playlists. So I have daily trade recaps. This is from back when live trading was happening, and recapping every single trade after. So if you want to see kind of just my thought process in some actual live trades that I took, you can watch that. These are actual recordings of live sessions. So we have pre-market analysis and live trading. This will show you, me walking through actual charting in the morning and live trading from when we were doing live trading. If you click on that, a bunch of videos from when we were doing that. It was for a long time. Things change though. Okay. Still love you guys so much. All right. But all that's there just if you guys want to look through that. Okay. And then educational calls. Like I said, you have a lot more education. A lot more education. Yes, a lot more education in the Discord. Lots of different stuff, educational charting sessions. Like I said, here's the bookmap video, but using a trade copier, trailing stop, which we'll talk about during the actual boot camp, but just a bunch of different stuff. There's also the tax video in here. I feel like a lot of you guys might be interested in that. So where is it at? Okay, there's a tax video in here somewhere. Trading and taxes. Let's see. Okay, I can't find it, but it's in here somewhere because I'm just not looking hard enough. Here it is. Personal finance for traders. Okay. So if you click on that video, if you're just interested in like taxes and, LLCs and stuff, then you can look at that. Why don't I trade live? Sorry. Working on IBLV automated for those that have seen that in short. Yes. All my energy is on that in this last boot camp. Okay. But yeah, that's everything in the Discord. As far as like extra education, just wanted to make sure you guys see that. And if you guys have any questions, please email support@iblvtrading.com. I'm going to type it in the chat real quick. Okay. Support at, I don't know if someone has already did it earlier, but I'm just going to do it again. Okay. This is for access issues. If you need help accessing the Discord, whatever the case may be, do that. If you need help accessing the Learning Hub, hold on, guys, please, 1 second. If you haven't gotten to the Learning Hub yet and you go to IBLVtrading.com, you're welcome. Go to IBLVtrading.com, please listen, okay? And you click on the bootcamp. Hold on, let me log out. Okay, guys, ignore that picture. It's kind of old. It's kind of funny. All right, log out. Scroll down. Click on view details. And it says 249, but enter the code access, okay? ACCESS. Enter that code when it tells you to pay for it. I don't know if it's gonna let me. There it goes. There's gonna be, when you sign up or log in, there's gonna be like a coupon code thing over here. Enter that code and it's gonna let you in, okay? So if you have issues with the Learning Hub, do that first, then email me if you need help, okay? Okay. Yes, Ricky. Yes, Ricky. All right. Questions on Friday. Marinate everything into your brain. Go through all the material. If you have any actual like real, I need to answer questions, send it in the Discord. But for now, just go through the Learning Hub, go through everything. I'll see you guys on Wednesday and Thursday. Questions on Friday. What time on Friday? 7 p.m. EST. Like I said, everything's in here. Okay, well, I'm not gonna go back to it because I'm not logged in anymore. But everything's in the Learning Hub. So the link is in there too. Let me just go back. Just let me just go back real quick. You're welcome. All right, you guys have a good night. Oh, thank you. I'm going back for you. I'm going back for you real quick. Okay, 1 second. I'm going back for you. Y'all can go if you already are good. Okay, I'm just going back real quick just to show. What was we even talking about? What are we looking for? Oh, somebody tell me. Oh, I don't even know. You're welcome, guys. Yes, all the sessions. Okay, yes, all the sessions are recorded in this get prepared section. Okay, access here, access recordings, schedule. Yes, thank you. All right, so yeah, it's in here. So you see here live Q&A March 6th and March 13th, 7 p.m. This is EST, by the way. Maybe I should add that in there. Everything is EST, 7 p.m. Same time. Everything is the same time. Everything is the same link. Okay, everything is the same time. Everything is the same link. Okay. All right. I think we're all good. What to watch? If you want to know what to watch before the next class, just come to this section, day one. You don't have to skip ahead. You're good. Just stay on day one. It shows you everything to watch. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, you're welcome. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you guys for coming. I'm so excited. I'll see you guys later. Again, any questions, Discord, email. Love you guys so much. Recording will be posted soon. All right. Y'all have a good night. Bye, guys. You're welcome.